Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and the only NXIVM trial that I know of that is at least going to take place federally, because it does look like there will also be a New York State trial as well. We're going to get into all that, has begun. And it's really been a bombshell. A lot of this stuff already known, but there are new court documents, according to the Daily Mail, that they have received. I'm going to try to get my hands on them. But they reveal a lot more than at least I was aware of. And we're going to get into all of that. The Daily Mail article does a good job of kind of summing things up. We're going to be talking about this one. We're going to talk about how the defense actually, we're going to quote them, actually compared Keith Raniere, or Raniere, I hear so many different variations of that, to Winston Churchill at Dunkirk, and To Kill a Mockingbird from Harper Lee. Yes, the book. Spent some time in his shoes. I really think that this is going to be a disaster. And then the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, instead of naming these women as Jane Doe 2, 4, they're giving them aliases. For instance, the 15-year-old girl here, and they get some quotes from inside the trial, as she was the first to testify, apparently. They have her as Virgin Camilla, I believe. There's a lot to go over. So let's start it up right now, okay? So one of the things that came out here, other than the fact, again, we've talked about this 15-year-old girl, her sisters, 3 of them, that's in here, were also made to be Raniere's slaves. Now, one of those girls is indeed, by the way, this girl's a Mexican national, okay? One of those girls actually ends up being the girl that Lauren Salzman, Nancy Salzman's daughter, will plead guilty to enslaving, basically, in a room. And there was another girl in there as well, okay? Now, in this, I believe it is Jane Doe 2 is the 15-year-old, or Camilla, or Virgin Camilla, as in this one. Let's find that right now. There it is right there. And again, I mean, they talk about organized crime in this. This is some intense stuff, okay? So let's go back here. So the one girl who was being enslaved, who also had a relationship with Raniere, she was eventually sent back down to Mexico after she showed interest in another man. I mean, she had to write things hundreds and hundreds of times. Now, Allison Mack, I'm sorry, I can't really deal with it because she got such a deal. Who knows? But when you see what she did, and she pledged her entire life to Raniere. And when I say her entire life, I mean, guys, who in their right mind would do this? Okay, first of all, this contract, okay, it transferred any custody that she might have with Raniere. So Raniere gets her pregnant, she has a kid. At any moment, he can pull this contract up. They're his kids. I mean, she just wants to leave. There's no divorce. I mean, this is life law. This is nuts. Take her property, her home. Now, here's where it's really crazy. I mean, you think the kid, the property, the home, you pledge your life, you make a contract, that's nuts enough. I mean, what are you making? You should be making contracts with nobody but yourself. And if you are a religious person, your creator. Okay? And that doesn't have to be written down, now does it? Okay? He said that they would have a letter addressed to social services alleging abuse of Mac's nephews. Now, I don't know if that would be real abuse or fake abuse. I remember they had a lot of blackmail on these people. Okay, so did they have some kind of photograph or video that's not being discussed in this trial? Because, again, not only the 15-year-old girl, but the other girls that he mentored while they were preteens and teens that we've gone over on this channel were also mentioned. Now, we talked about this. We talked about how the child abuse allegation documents showed that this stuff was going to be brought up in the trial, but not really charging him. Now, another bombshell, and I'm going to give Frank Parlato a lot of credit. First of all, we're going to go over who a lot of these women were, okay? The women who were photographed, because a lot of them were of age, but again, some were not. Now, here's where he's a little hyperbolic, guys. Let me say this. This is over a month ago. That's not a direct quote, okay? But the lawyer does say that, let's see. In the latest filing by one of her attorneys, the argument is made that even if Claire did, in fact, have a sexual relationship with Raniere, and even if they talked about sex, that's not proof that Bronfman knew about sex crimes or that those crimes have any bearing on the government's case. Now, I'll be honest. I always assumed that there was no relationship there, but I had not seen those documents. It was brought up in court here that they had an intimate relationship. Now, again, Parlato's done some great work. One of these 12 women, he claims to be the other Bronfman sister, Sarah Bronfman. Remember, Sarah Bronfman, who's out of the country. And thank you for the super chat so much. They help so much. Guys, if you're just watching this, you're not subbed, please sub, ring that bell. Right now we're doing the NXIVM video, and there's a lot to go over here. So I don't know if that's a cover or not. What do I mean? You know, maybe there was a relationship there sexually, but I got to tell you, I feel like, you know, it hasn't been stressed before. I haven't seen any other documentation on it. It may be a smoke screen. It may not. But that I find that really odd, okay? Really, really odd. So all that came out in court today. And again, the defense, literally, you need to crawl inside someone's kid and walk around in it. He's quoting Atticus Finch, okay? He says, I will defend my island home, and my island home is that man's good faith, okay? And at the end of that flag of freedom will be flying. A lot of this is about perspective, okay? A lot of this is about perspective. Yeah, it sure is. How did Mac get such a plea deal when you see what she did? I mean, she was driving people around, blindfolded and naked, taking them to Raniere. The 15-year-old girl, I don't want to go into what she had to do sexually because I'd like to keep this monetized and try to get this video out there so people can read it. But this is a 15-year-old girl who was driven around by Raniere, blindfolded and nude, to make it not know where she's going, taken into the woods, into a shack, and then forced to do something to another grown woman in front of other people. Probably on film and video. Now they're talking about the hundreds of videos and pictures he had. Now, again, not all of that is CP, but a good amount of it is. So here they're giving people names, by the way. It's not just Jane Doe. We have Sylvie, and apparently some of these, I think Monica is in here as well. Apparently some of these names are actually the first names of these women, but I can't be sure of that. So again, props to Parlato. And again, when you read these documents and you find out that John Doe 2 is Edgar Bronfman Sr., and they have all these different extortion rackets going on. They all have all these different cyber crimes that I was really largely unaware of even looking at this until I went to the Times Union Symposium. And props to the Times Union. They continue to do great work on this case. Remember, they've been talking about this for, over a decade, really, and hardcore, too. Doing news reporting, again, that the FBI is just looking into now, such as those girls that were much younger than 15. Gina Hutchinson being one of them. And then another young lady who never gave her name but did give an interview to them. And we've played that on this channel before. So it's really important that we keep pressing the issue, especially because we know that Bronfman can only be sentenced to 21 to 72 months. She's paying a $6 million restitution. She's already gave, in the very beginning, $5 million for the fund of Raniere. There's no word that she'll actually be testifying against Raniere or anybody else. Salzman, Lauren, I believe it was Lauren, not Nancy, but she pled guilty without even a deal. Of course, there was a deal for Bronfman. Bronfman paying the $6 million and the 21 to 72 months in Club Fed, wherever. She gets sentenced to more than 27 months. And by the way, no matter what, she'll get off with time, good behavior. She'll probably be able to leave the prison. It's a joke. But if she gets more than 27, she can appeal that case. What a deal. Talk about a sweetheart deal. We haven't seen a sweetheart deal in the public eye that isn't being questioned like that since Jeffrey Epstein. Remember, her sister's still out of the country. So a lot more. And Allison Mack, I mean, she was looking at 20 years. Probably deserved to be looking at a lot more when you looked at these RICO charges that, again, we've gone over in the documents before, 2 different videos. If you haven't seen those, please, again, subscribe to the channel. Go check out those videos. You can read it in black and white. The things that are in there are absolutely astounding. There's a lot more court documents to go over, by the way. So I'd be surprised if she gets more than 3 to 5. I think that would be even enormous, maybe even 1 to 3. And you see her out in, 12, 24 months. This is appalling. And I don't know that, I mean, Raniere may be the fall guy, but we're going to see. I'm not even sure how hard they're going to come down on him. It's hard to believe with all the media attention and the way that things have now been focused solely on him and focused away from the Rainbow Cultural Garden that we've covered on this channel and focused away from Salinas' son, the former Mexican president, and the schools that were down there and the schools that were throughout the country. When we talk about the Rainbow Cultural Garden, we talk about real children's schools, preschools, handled by women that Bronfman, by the dozens, were getting visas to come in to be teachers and also sex partners for Raniere. And who knows who else? Remember, I mean, this was a DOS cult. The branding has been, focused upon. It's not even branding. It was literally laser cut in. It wasn't like a brand you can get at a tattoo shop nowadays. It was a surgical procedure. So, yeah, that's grotesque. But what's even more grotesque is the kids that were involved in this. Guys, if you like this video, please, I'm begging you. Hopefully we're just about to hit 16,000, but we can't be happy with that. We got the road to 30K right now. Once we hit 30K, I can't tell you how much more opens up for this channel. So much more opportunity. So please, I beg you, not only hit that subscribe button, but, post this on your favorite website. Encourage other alternative media to cover this stuff and also repost it. Post it on social media. Right now, again, still locked out of the We Are Change and Jason Bermas fan pages on Facebook. And who knows how much time we have left on this platform alone. So I'm always ready to diversify. Hopefully, wherever I go, you're going to watch this material. And I really do think it's important because you're not seeing this in the other so-called alternative media anywhere. And instead, they're focusing on left-right bullshit. Who cares about that? It's connected to both. And we've covered that. So once again, thank you guys so much. And we will see you soon.